So I just want to tell my story quick about what happened to me last spring, when I got Botox. As someone who's diagnosed with OCD and panic disorder, both of these conditions basically revolve around the fear of not being in control. You get what you'll see what I'm saying in a bit. If you have it, the fear of permanence, the fear of being trapped, the fear of being unable to escape from certain things. So I got Botox last spring during a very, very bad time in my life. Recently went through a very traumatic series of events leading up to this. Usually I'm the type of person that does research and, I like to gather all the knowledge I can about something before I make a decision. But, obviously I'm very fond of lip filler. Filler's awesome. Nothing wrong with filler, right? Like, this is not about filler. Getting Botox, especially as a young woman, for whatever reason, is, promoted in this society. I'm 26 years old. I actually got this a month before turning 26, but this was, 8 months ago, so I don't clearly have Botox anymore in my forehead. I can move my face and make facial expressions, obviously, thank God. So I knew, obviously everyone was getting Botox, and I was like, okay, maybe during the time that I was struggling with the traumatic event, and I'm pretty sure I developed PTSD after this event, maybe subconsciously in my head, I wanted to gain some sort of control over anything, because nothing was in my control during this point in my life. So I thought, oh, maybe, I could just get some Botox and get rid of all my wrinkles, and that'll be a way that I could feel I'm doing something, if that makes sense, to improve my life or whatever the psychological reason. We don't need to get into the psychological reasoning for it. I don't know why I have to make everything about psychology, but anyway. So the day of this appointment, right, I'm nervous, obviously. I have agoraphobia, so I don't like traveling anywhere. Because of my panic attacks, my life is difficult, okay? Due to these issues I have. So I was already nervous about having to just go to the clinic in general, right? But for whatever reason, like I said, I wasn't thinking straight at this point in my life because a lot of horrible things were happening to me. I didn't look up what Botox really was. I assumed it was some sort of filler or just a skin treatment that's an injectable. I didn't know that Botox literally paralyzes your face. And as somebody who has the fear of being trapped and the fear of being in inescapable situations, I was my heart immediately dropped and my heart started pounding and I was just what the hell am I about to do right now? Paralyzing my face? That's the ultimate feeling of being trapped. Even when I was younger, fear of being stuck in an elevator, always had this fear of being trapped, right? So once I read what Botox really was, I was I don't want to do it anymore, right? But then I thought to myself, exposure therapy with OCD, they say to face your fears. So obviously, one of my fears with OCD is being trapped or doing something that I cannot immediately undo. It's the fear of, being trapped in a decision. And with Botox, unlike filler, you could dissolve filler. Botox, once it's in there, it's in there. You have to ride out the 3 to 6 months that it's gonna be there. 3 to 4 months. I got 10 units. It literally went away in 3 months, but that's not the point. The point is as someone with these conditions, I didn't realize what hell I was about to put myself through. So knowing that this wasn't a good idea for someone under my circumstances, I made the horrible decision to go to the clinic anyway. Okay, I went anyway because I was I'm not gonna let fear control my life anymore. I'm not gonna let OCD control my life. I'm gonna do it. So I went and I did it, right? And I was under the influence, by the way. I was drinking the day that I did this because, first of all, going in cars for me, triggers panic attacks. So I had a few drinks in my system because I was very nervous just for the entire experience of this, right? So I got the Botox. The whole day I'm just in la la land because I was just drinking the whole day, not proud of myself, not promoting drinking to deal with your anxiety, but unfortunately it's something that I do at this point in my life. So the whole day I'm just whatever, I'm not thinking about it. Okay, so I wake up at 5 a.m, all right, and as someone who has panic disorder and has panic attacks in general, I wake up and I'm like, what have I done? Not only was it just a severely intense panic attack, I felt it in my body. I was like, I just made a permanent, not permanent, but still, like, you have to realize you're waiting months for this to go away, so it feels like you're trapped in the decision. I was just like, I just made a decision to basically commit to having my face paralyzed for 3 to 4 months. It was sheer terror immediately, just terror. Like, it was the trapped in the elevator feeling, it was the panic attack feeling, and it did not go away for months, okay? And I didn't know, by doing something as simple as just getting 11 units of Botox in my forehead. I got it right here and, like, here, right? I didn't know that was going to psychologically destroy me for months, and even after it wore off, I was in such a state of distress just knowing that my face was paralyzed. Just knowing my face was paralyzed, it was just like 24/7, just panic. And if you've had a panic attack, you know what it feels like. It literally feels like you're either going crazy or that you're dying on the spot. Just impending doom, like the need to escape the situation you're in, even if, there's nothing to escape. You could literally be sitting in your room, being cozy as fuck, and you just randomly have a panic attack. When you have panic disorder, it is a hellish nightmare of a disorder. Okay, so add that onto having OCD, which gives you the most horrific, terrifying, intrusive thoughts that anyone can goddamn imagine. Worse than horror movie type shit thoughts. Imagine how I felt. And it was my decision to get the Botox. And I immediately regretted it. And once it started kicking in, I was trying to, like, gaslight myself into thinking I was okay with it. Because I was like, oh, yeah, my skin looks so nice. Like, I look younger. But, like, I literally couldn't make facial expressions. And the level of uncanny valley it was to not be able to move my face, it was just a nightmare for someone who has, like, these fears with, like, OCD and, like, having panic disorder. And every day I would try and see if it was wearing off. It was constantly on my mind. It wouldn't go away. The thought wouldn't go away that I'm paralyzed, I'm trapped, and I can't escape. And it wasn't a feeling of physically being trapped. Like, I literally couldn't move my eyebrows, but I felt like I was in a mental cage, and it literally was just panic attack central for months until this wore off. And I'm still not over it. Honestly, I don't want to sound like a special snowflake, but it traumatized me. So, like, if you have OCD or panic disorder or any type of neurodivergent disorder where you have sensory issues or, like, a fear of feeling trapped and, high anxiety and shit like that, like, please reconsider getting Botox, because it really was not a good experience for me. I ended up having to take anxiety medication every other day. Like, it caused issues in my life. Like, something so simple, like, caused such a big issue in my life. And certain things are just not for everybody, like, other people that don't have these conditions can go and do these things and not care. But it's like other people like me, who are technically neurodivergent, it doesn't go so well. You got what I'm saying? So it was a very bad experience, and no, nothing wrong with the injector, nothing, they did their job, the Botox did what it was supposed to do, nothing bad happened to me physically. It was more of the mental hell I went through, basically triggering my conditions to the maximum. Like, I felt like I was stuck in an elevator, but I was literally just in my own face. So it was a nightmare for me. I just wanted to tell my story. Just reconsider it if you have these types of conditions, because you don't want to go through that. Because let me tell you, if you're already going through shit in your life and you add that problem on top of it, you're just going to fall into a state of just, like, depression, and you don't want that. But yep, the Botox is gone, and I'm probably never doing it again unless I'm an old ass lady. So that's my story.